Endeavor Houston, good morning. A special good morning to you today, Eric.
Good morning, Shannon. My wife first sent me that song when I was deployed on the other side of the world. It's good to hear it again now that I'm deployed off the earth. I'd like to thank my family, Kristen, Maddie, and Tony, and it's a good day for an undock and fly around.
It's a great day for undock. I got a couple of words. You go for outlook.
That wake-up music coming on time at 4:45 a.m. The title of the song was In the Meantime, and it was performed by the Space Hogs. It was, as you heard, from Capcom and astronaut Shannon Lucid for pilot Eric Bowe. Once again, that song calls the crew into action for undocking day. The Space Shuttle Endeavour and its 7 astronaut crew are scheduled to leave the International Space Station at 8:47 a.m. Central Time. Endeavour crew members, Commander Chris Ferguson, Bowe, and Mission Specialists Don Pettit, Steve Bowen, Heidi Marie Stephanician Piper, Shane Kimbrough, and Greg Shamatoff, spent the night separated from their station colleagues. On the other side of the closed hatches were Commander Mike Fink, the Expedition 18 head, and flight engineers Yuri Lonchikov and Sandy Magnus. Those hatches between the two vehicles were closed at 6:31 p.m. on Thursday.
And this is a look at the aft flight deck of the Shuttle Endeavour with pilot Eric Bowe on the left, who'll be doing the fly around. On the right is Mission Specialist Shane Kimbrough. Coming into the frame at left is Greg Shamatoff, coming home after 6 months on orbit. Lower right-hand portion of your screen is the Mission Specialist Don Pettit, and just obscured is Heidi Stephanician Piper. Meanwhile, Chris Ferguson on the forward flight deck of the shuttle getting configured for the undocking.
Turn on the cameras a little bit more than you may be used to. So feel free, any camera that is up and running, feel free to downlink as you see fit. And also, I bet you guys are looking outside the window like we are at the beautiful orbiter out there.
And Houston, the check MCC step. Let me know if you're ready for free on the deck.
In Endeavour, page 2-5 at PET -20. Check MCC, we're ready for those steps.
There, work.
This is Mission Control Houston. Steve Robinson confirming for the crew aboard the Shuttle Endeavour and the International Space Station that all the flight controllers on the ground here are go for undocking. Lead flight director for this mission, Mike Serafin, confirming with all of his team members here, and with International Space Station Flight Director Holly Ridings that all systems are at the ready for today's separation of Endeavour from the International Space Station. Now inside 10 minutes from undocking of Endeavour from the International Space Station, Russian interface officer in the International Space Station Flight Control Room reports that the Mission Control Center in Kharkiv outside of Moscow confirms that the Russian solar arrays are properly feathered to protect them from any contamination from the thruster firings that are about to occur. This is a look from the centerline camera, taking a look at the docking target on the inside of pressurized mating adapter 2 orbiter docking system compartment. This vestibule has been depressurized in preparation for the undocking. One minute, 20 seconds to undock. Instrumentation and Communications Officer reports that we likely will lose television about a minute after undock. We'll continue to follow Endeavour's fly around using the rendezvous proximity operations computer-generated projections. 30 seconds to undocking.
Physical sep, Houston.
Houston copies. Physical separation.
Station copies.
Crew on board the shuttle station complex confirming a physical separation of the two spacecraft at 8:47 a.m. Central Time, marking 11 days, 16 hours, and 46 minutes of dock activities between the two vehicles. That's just 4 hours shy of a record for total dock time that was set in March on the STS-123 mission. Springs pushing Endeavour slowly away from the International Space Station. Pilot Eric Bowe at the controls of Endeavour's aft flight deck. We're also receiving some sequential still video pictures of the pressurized MIG Adapter 2 docking port as Endeavour pulls away.
Endeavour, station is in attitude control.
Endeavour station is in attitude control. Endeavour copies.
Expedition 18 Commander Mike Fink reporting the International Space Station back in control of its own orientation relative to the Earth, and reporting that both to the ground and to Chris Ferguson on board Endeavour.
Endeavour departing.
Thank you, Sandy. It was great working with you guys. And Endeavour, this is the International Space Station. We're great. Thanks for the incredible makeover and leaving the station in fantastic shape. And thanks to your heroic efforts, we are one step closer to a 6-person crew. So from the International Space Station, Godspeed, soft landing. We copy ISS, thanks. And even from 25 feet, you look better.
Copy that, and thanks, Fergie. See you guys in a few months. Safe landing.
Former Endeavour crew member and now Expedition 18 crew member Sandy Magnus ringing the ship's bell aboard the International Space Station to signal the departure of Endeavour. And Space Station Commander Mike Fink thanking Chris Ferguson and his crew for an incredible makeover. Again, today's undocking occurred exactly on time at 8:47 a.m. Central Time over the coast of Taiwan at an altitude of 221 statute miles. Shuttle and station docked for a total of 11 days, 16 hours, and 46 minutes for those extreme home improvements. Pilot Eric Bowe at the aft flight deck controls, slowly maneuvering Endeavour out to a distance of about 400 feet. Moving ahead of the International Space Station as the pair orbit the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour. Bowe carefully managing the relative velocities of the two spacecraft using the shuttle's thrusters. This is Mission Control Houston, the fly around of Endeavour around the International Space Station beginning at 9:09 a.m. Central Time, according to the rendezvous officer here in Mission Control. Pilot Eric Bowe flying Endeavour from the aft flight deck rotational and translational hand controller systems, looking out the windows above and behind the shuttle as he conducts his fly around. Meanwhile, Flight Director Holly Ridings in the International Space Station Control Room reporting to Mike Serafin here in the Shuttle Flight Control Room that the space station is going to begin using its systems to maneuver back to the torque equilibrium attitude. This is the low propulsion, low control moment gyroscope energy attitude that allows it to stay in the same orientation relative to the Earth with the minimal use of its systems.
As we depress the PMA.
And Mike Fink checking on the pressure equalization, making sure that the hatches are holding tight.
Your SA, we are maneuvering to the TEA. Endeavour Houston on the big loop. ISS is beginning the maneuver to the TEA. And I'll see you on air to ground 2 for SEP3 discussion.
Okay, Endeavour copies, and yeah, we're looking at it as well.
Endeavour Houston on air to ground 2. Looks like Colonel Bowe is doing an outstanding fly around, and we're considering we're looking at a borderline conjunction for later in the day that's probably going to recommend for us to delay the SEP3 burn until after the inspection. That'd be at least a 6-hour delay in the SEP3 burn. It's the current best option we're looking at. We'll give you more as we tighten up our numbers.
Okay, we copy that. Anticipate a delay in the SEP3 burn. Thanks.
And Fergie, if we do delay SIP-3 on the other side of inspection, we will move inspection up, maybe to the tune of 45 minutes or so. More details as we go.
That sounds like a great idea. Thanks.
Spacecraft communicator Steve Robinson giving Chris Ferguson, the commander of the shuttle, and Colonel Bowe the words that the team here on the ground is reviewing data related to a possible conjunction with a defunct Russian satellite that could come within the box within which Endeavour needs to change its plan on the third and final separation burn, which is currently scheduled to occur at about 10:30 a.m. Central Time. So far, the team here is willing to watch the continuation of the fly around and the initial 2 separation burns. Separation burn 1 scheduled for 10:01 a.m. Separation 2 for 10:30 a.m. That final separation burn actually scheduled for 11:14 a.m. Central Time, but could be delayed if that will help us avoid the possible conjunction with this defunct Russian satellite body.
And Houston for KU. Doesn't look like it's having much success, but I know we're out of KU-COM. You just want to keep looking at the radar.
Hey, radar mines, Fergie, on panel A1 upper. Let's try GPC designate.
Okay, we'll try a GPC designate.
Endeavour continues to do a backward circle around the space station at a distance now of approximately 600 feet. Pilot Eric Bowe at the commands. You can see clearly the solar arrays on the International Space Station. On the right side of your screen are the 2 port solar alpha rotary joints that, or the solar arrays that are turned by the port solar alpha rotary joint, which got a lubrication by the space walkers conducting 4 spacewalks on this mission. They put some additional brake coat grease on the flywheel that is used to turn those solar rays to track the sun as a preventive maintenance activity. Heidi Stefanishin and Piper, Steve Bowen and Shane Kimbrough performing the 4 spacewalks of the mission. On the left hand of your screen is the right or starboard solar alpha rotary joint. That was the joint that took the most extensive work on this flight as the 3 spacewalkers cleaned metal filings from the race ring of the solar alpha rotary joint, replaced 11 of its 12 trundle bendings so that all 12 trundle bearings now have been replaced, and thoroughly lubricating that joint. Engineers on the ground are continuing to watch the data from the solar alpha rotary joint and review the information they received during 2 complete 360-degree rotations of that solar alpha rotary joint immediately after the repairs. The initial look at the data showed that there was significant improvement in its operation, but the engineers are continuing to evaluate.
Endeavour Station on the big loop. We saw you pass right below us, and you look, as far as we can tell, clean and dry from the top. Some mighty spectacular imagery we got as you flew over the mouth of the Amazon River. So good job, and good flying to Eric. ISS Endeavour on the big loop. Yeah, we concur. You guys look great from this perspective, too. Eric's doing a great job.
These are television pictures from the International Space Station's cameras, taking a good look at Endeavour's payload bay and the Leonardo multi-purpose logistics module that was used to deliver 7 tons of supplies and equipment that are continuing to be used for some extreme home improvements inside the International Space Station, as well as the Space Shuttle's robotic arm grappled to the orbiter boom sensor system that coming up later today will be used to inspect the leading edges of the wings and the nose cap of the shuttle to ensure that the reinforced carbon-carbon continues to be in good shape for landing on Sunday at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This is Mission Control Houston with some recorded video from inside the International Space Station. Commander Mike Fink and his crew trained one of the high-definition television cameras on the Space Shuttle Endeavour as it fired thrusters to depart the International Space Station. You can see those thrusters firing just past the Soyuz module in the foreground of this picture. This video being recorded from inside the Zvezda service module of the space station. Again, this is a videotape downlink from Commander Mike Fink aboard the station following today's 8:47 a.m. departure of Endeavour. Again, this is downlink television from the high-definition cameras on board the International Space Station. This is a close-up look at the nose area of the Space Shuttle Endeavour as it was finishing up its fly-around of the International Space Station. Expedition 18 Commander Mike Fink providing a very detailed view of the Space Shuttle crew cabin and its payload bay. There's the orbiter docking system at the top of your picture that was used to connect Endeavour to the International Space Station. This is Mission Control Houston. This flickering view from the end of the orbiter boom sensor system is a view from the laser dynamic range imaging system that is being used to scan the starboard wing of the space shuttle, looking for any problems there that could present themselves for Sunday's planned landing after re-entry through the Earth's atmosphere. This is a pre-programmed set of maneuvers that the crew executes and then ends a step-by-step process to take a good look at the heat protection systems for the shuttle. The view appears to flicker because it's actually a three-dimensional view that's being downlinked to the ground for imagery specialists, and we only see every 3 or 4 frames as they go by. instruments in place for the next set of scans on the left or port wing as they work to finish up this final inspection of the thermal control surfaces on the exterior of the shuttle prior to Sunday's planned landing at Kennedy Space Center. That landing scheduled for 12:19 p.m. Central Time, 1:19 Eastern. Weather conditions holding.
View here of the shuttle's robotic arm for the first time since the beginning of the mission, now having let go of the orbiter boom sensor system. The shuttle is currently about 230 miles above the Southern Ocean, about to reach the southernmost point of its orbit for this trip around the Earth and begin heading northeast towards the west coast of North America. You can see here at the end of the station's robotic arm from this view from one of the cameras on the arm, the latching end effector at the top moving as the crew members on board Endeavour get it ready to move into its pre-cradle position. Decided to go ahead and do that after all before they perform tonight's last separation burn.
Endeavour Houston, while we're talking about the post-burn game plan, got a couple more inputs for you.
Go ahead.
Fergie, we'd like, after the burn, for you to maneuver to that post-port survey attitude that's called out in the timeline under your column at 22:15. The only delta we have there is rather than A14, we'll take A1 on the DAP.
Houston, we copy post-RCS burn, which appears to leave us in inertial. We'll maneuver to the attitude in the timeline at 22:15, and we'll use the A1 DAP.
That's a good readback, Fergie. And then once we get done with terminating the FES dump, we can pick up that comm string 1 checkout, part A.
Okay, we'll do that.
Space Shuttle Endeavour's robotic arm being controlled by pilot Eric Bowe and mission specialist Don Pettit and Shane Kimbrough. Now moving into what's called the pre-cradle position, which is almost but not quite berthed in its latches along the side of Endeavour's payload bay, opposite of the orbiter boom sensor system, which it has already berthed. This view now coming from cameras inside the shuttle's payload bay, looking at the Leonardo multipurpose logistics module on the right, and on the left the latches that will hold the shuttle's robotic arm once it is fully berthed. You can also see one of the other cameras in the payloads bay there moving at the very center of the screen. Yet another view from cameras inside the shuttle's cargo bay. This one you can see the orbiter boom sensor system berthed in its latches inside the cargo bay, having completed its work for the mission with the completion of today's inspection of the shuttle's heat shield. And on the right side of the screen, you can see the end of the shuttle's robotic arm just a few feet away from its own latches on the port or left side of the shuttle.